vibras? Cause we know the vibras.
Welcome back to another episode of the You Know the Vibras podcast. And if you're new here, welcome to the platform. I'm the one and only Wanda Don, and as always, I'm accompanied by Michael Carrasco.
It's weird, ain't it?
Yeah. How you guys doing? And how are you doing, man? How's everything? Any new things going on with you? How's your past weekend? How's work? Your mental health? How's all of that?
So this past weekend, finally was able to get on the golf course. Felt pretty good. I feel like Tiger Woods out there. Overall,
I feel like a lot of people have been golfing recently.
Yeah. I feel like it's a fun sport. The only thing is just long.
Yeah.
Because when you go to the golf course, you're there. If you plan on a more fast pace, maybe like 2 hours. But now if you're taking your time, or if the people in front of you are playing slow, you're there for at least 3 to 5 hours. But it was good. It was good, Just go out there, have some fun. And it's kind of like a therapy, honestly.
Word.
You just away from everybody, and you enjoying a sport plus enjoying nature. So,
Facts.
yeah. Apart from that, everything been well. Mental health is good. It's good. Yeah. How about yourself?
I'd say so. This past week, I took it like as a self-care type of thing. Like I washed my car, got a haircut, bought a couple things, but yeah, it just sucks because now with the pollen and everything, you wash your car and the next day it's yellow again. So
yeah,
that's the only thing. And then you deal with the the health situations with pollen. You get stuffed up a little bit,
nose, sneezing.
But everything's good. Mental health is great. Thankful for that. Good. Everything's going good, man. Thankfully. But enough of that. Let's touch into this topic for today. As you guys may see in the title, we're gonna be going over some advantages and disadvantages of limiting your accessibility. What influenced this episode was towards the end of I can't remember what episode exactly it was, but it was where we were talking about protecting your energy. We touched on the accessibility and why it's important to not be accessible to everyone.
Right.
And we feel as if, because we posted the little video on our platforms, a lot of people, a couple months back or whatever, did like it and felt like they could relate. So why not dedicate an episode to it? First thing and foremost, what's your point of view on accessibility, and like how do you feel about limiting yourself to everyone before we do get into
the talk? Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as accessibility, it's like how you allow people into your life, and how frequent, as well as how many people you allow into your life.
Right.
For me, over the years, I have become more of a, I wouldn't say secretive, but more of a guarded person. Like I have my guard up at all times,
Right.
just because I have people coming in and out of my life, essentially used for their own benefits. So I feel like now I'm more, how do I put into words? I'm more careful who I let into my life, right? So as far as limiting your accessibility, you got to pick. There's people that you meet and you're like, okay, this person, can have full access. Where, on the other hand, you meet some people and you're like, all right, maybe I'm gonna limit the type of thing that I'm gonna say to that person about me or my life. So I feel like it's plays a major role depending on who you're talking to. And I just feel people got to be more careful who they let in into their lives. Yeah.
Right. No, I agree with you. You touched on some important you touched on some important parts of the conversation right there. And I feel like you do have to be more careful who you let into your life. And what part of your life you let people in as well. Before I know we almost were getting close to running on the whole, the conversation. Get them with the quote of the day first.
So this quote that I found is actually anonymous, and the quote says, "You will have to understand how accessible I'm not to really appreciate how accessible I am to you. Everyone's access is not granted." So essentially, the quote is saying, you have to understand like that I'm not accessible to everybody to
Right.
really appreciate how accessible I am to you,
Right.
right? And the last part is, not everyone access is granted. Simple as that. Not everybody that I meet that um, I may run into it doesn't have the access to my life.
Right. So what I took away from that is basically saying that having access to you or to me or to you guys listening or watching, it should be a privilege to others.
Exactly.
Um, people losing you, they should feel like like damn, like I lost a good one. You feel me? Like
Right.
if someone
Right.
loses friendship with you or loses a relationship with you, and they shrug it off like nothing, then that means they didn't really value you as a friend or as a partner. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that way, I feel like you have to make people feel like it's a privilege to be around you and be a
Exactly. Yeah.
privilege to have some of your energy. You know what I'm saying? Like to even be in your presence. You know what I'm saying? It should be a
Exactly.
privilege.
I agree.
And I feel like if everyone approaches life that way, then things will be more beneficial to you for your self care and for your mental health,
That's
as a
right.
person, because that way you don't have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
negativity around you and stuff like that.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but good quote. I feel like we should I feel like the way we should attack this is because I mean I would say there are more advantages than disadvantages,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say it's probably better to start with the disadvantages and then go into the advantages.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We can start with the disadvantages. Like you said, it's less disadvantages.
Right.
At least from my point of view.
Right.
Um, I mean, the one that you can say is like a major thing, and I don't even know why people will care. And it just other people may see you as like a boring person just because you don't have like this big group
Yeah.
of friends,
Right.
or or if you're not going out
Right.
every weekend. I feel like that's the main disadvantage, but it's not something really relevant.
Right.
Um,
So yeah, nah, you're right. I feel like that's one of mine. I feel like you may lose friends along the way.
that's right.
Um, while you limit your accessibility. I feel like that's something that's like a blessing in disguise, though. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Because those that leave or those that weren't good for you aren't gonna be
Right.
beneficial to you in the long run. Um, but what you're talking about, I feel like when you say people, look at you a certain way, I feel like there's always gonna be, especially when you are that way, people are gonna look at you differently, and they're gonna get a different impression from you.
Yeah.
One that may come across to a lot of people, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this person's Hollywood."
Right.
Um,
Right.
but sometimes, well, I say it depends, but being Hollywood could be good in
And
some points because um you just get away from people that are like scavengers and are not really there for your good. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like
They're only there for their own good.
right.
Right.
So I feel like it depends the situation. Like if you go Hollywood and you like leave good friends behind, then I feel like that's a problem. But if you go Hollywood and quote unquote you're going Hollywood, if you go Hollywood and then you leave and remove the toxic people, then I feel like that's when it could be beneficial to go Hollywood.
I agree. I agree 100%. Touching on that, I guess this could be a pro early on.
Mm-hmm.
When you start limiting the access to you, like you say, you will learn to see who really is there to see you thrive, to help you out through the good and bad times. Um, and I would say that's one of the best things because when I was younger, I had a bunch of friends in college, a lot of people that I shouldn't be friends with in the first place. But once I started, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
growing up a little more, I started to understand that not everybody that's around me is necessarily there for my own good. And once I stop, going out, I stop, drinking and all that stuff. I started realizing that there were certain people in my life that were there just for those, to party, drink,
Yeah.
if we were doing something, just to be there. And then I also realized that there were people there that genuinely care about me, what I was doing, if I really needed something, they were there. And I would say that's like the best part of limiting your access to people.
Right. But like I was gonna say, like I feel like the thing with that is your age plays a big part because when you're
I agree.
younger, I
Yeah,
feel like you have a big group of friends. You
I
know what I
agree.
mean?
Yes,
I feel like I wouldn't
yes.
even call them friends. I used to call them like
Acquaintances.
acquaintances or colleagues. Like people
Yeah,
like when you're kids, like you're around a lot of.
a
I
lot of
mean, they
people.
can be friends, but
Yeah,
I feel like friends should mean way more than just
a good
playing at the
time.
park with and stuff like
Right,
that. I don't
right,
know. There has to be a better word for that, but I guess classmates or something. I don't know. Like,
right.
but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like when you get older, I feel like that's when you start to mold your circle, and mold your friend group to your liking. Instead of like when
Exactly.
you're younger, you just you're at the park and someone has a ball and you go and want to play with them. You know what I mean? Like that's
Oh yeah, that's my new friend.
yeah. But so what I'm saying is with the age part, when you get older, um, like you can tell like who's good for you and who's not. You
Yeah,
know
you
what I'm
can.
saying?
Yeah,
Now the thing is like some people like are afraid to tell people like that or are afraid to remove people from their friend groups
hmm,
and sometimes it just happens naturally like they
yeah,
they leave naturally, you know what I mean, like
yeah. I
when you
agree.
limit your
Yeah.
accessibility and I guess that's a good thing when you don't have to
Hmm.
remove them yourself. um but one major disadvantage I would say does come from limiting accessibility would be the opportunities I feel like will be limited. For instance, like jobs. Like since you're not going out of, what I'm saying, constantly going out and looking for jobs like on
Right,
your own. Like
right.
when I'm saying when you limit accessibility, like my impression is like not going out that much and staying in and
You stay in your own lane
right.
essentially. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Opportunities may lack because
You're not exposing
you're not
yourself.
you're not exposing yourself. You're not going out, and you're not like meeting new people
Right.
and
Okay.
networking. That's why I feel
Okay.
like it could be a disadvantage
No,
to
I
me.
like that point of view, and I would say I will have to agree with you, but I feel like, like I said, you gotta learn how to who you're gonna limit yourself to. Now, let's say if you have a goal of getting a job, of course you'll be more inclined not to necessarily let people in, but just making those connections
Hmm.
more of that professional connection rather than trying to up the jump, trying to be friends with this person. Because let's say you meet somebody, he's essentially, let's say, like a hiring manager or something, and you're both partying and all that. Me, if I was like that person who was looking to hire somebody, I wouldn't hire somebody that I would meet like at a club, right? Just because, okay, my instance, all right, they just working to come get black plaster on the
Yeah.
weekends.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, yeah, I see how that can be an issue as far as limiting yourself, and that's when you have to learn how to um differentiate the type of relationship
So
that it
so the
is.
reason I said that, and mind you, like I'm not
Hmm.
I'm not saying I agree with it or anything. It's
Right.
just given the disadvantage, their platform. But like when you do limit your accessibility, your social life may change.
That's true.
So maybe when you do get out there and try to do a job interview, you're not as comfortable around people. You know what I mean? That's where it could be a problem. Is what I'm
I
saying.
agree. I agree.
So that's why I said that it could be a disadvantage and it could limit your opportunities. Just because there's more things attached to that when you do limit your accessibility, in
No,
my
I
opinion.
agree. I agree with that.
Um,
I agree with that.
so yeah, like what I was talking about with the social life. So your communication also changes because you tend to be more reserved in that area, and you select who you want to communicate with and who you want to converse with. So
Right, right.
that's why I feel like I mean maybe I'm thinking about it too hard. Maybe I'm thinking like people are gonna hardcore, limit themselves, like lock themselves in the room. But
Uh huh.
nah. It's just trying to find ways where there could be some disadvantages
And this, yeah,
and
no, of
advantages.
course.
But let's get into the advantages, because it's just a lot of negativity
Mm-hmm.
with the disadvantages. Um,
Right.
I just feel like with the advantages, one that does stand out to me is, like I said earlier, is the self care. I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like when
yeah.
you got more time to focus on yourself,
I agree.
and like sharpen them areas that you are weaker in, and like for instance, like say communication could have been a problem, then you would find ways to communicate better and not have. All right, so when I say that, I mean like limiting pointless conversations, and have better conversations with better meanings. You know what I mean? So I feel like that way, when you do limit your conversations with people, I feel like you get more out of certain conversations because you were holding, onto some stuff more, and then
I
you
ag-
just
I agree.
let it
Yeah.
all fall out.
Right, right, right. No, I like that. Definitely the self care stuff. Because you'll find yourself with more time to actually be able to take care of yourself
Right.
rather than your 100 friends that you may have.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. Another one that I want to add to that is just actually building meaningful relationships. Whether it is with friends, significant other, you start you will start to appreciate those relationships more.
Mm-hmm.
At least from my point of view, because now you don't have 30 people that you consider your friends, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote. And now once you start limiting your access, you will see that there will be people that will always try to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, either reach out, check up on you, and then there's gonna be people as soon as if you don't test them, they will never be the first ones to test you
Right.
back,
No, yeah,
right?
that's important.
So once you start limiting yourself, those genuine people that actually care
Gonna
about
check
you,
up on you.
you will really start noticing them, and that's when you really start building those good, meaningful, long friendships and relationships with people.
So I'm saying, be mindful of those that do check up on you, those that call you every once in a while. Those are good
Right.
people for you.
Mm-hmm.
The people that you always got to be chasing, and running behind, and sending messages to 24/7, and they not responding to you.
Right.
You're
Right.
just doing a this, like you're just doing what's that word? Like a this fault? Nah, I don't know. Like you're just doing a problem. Like you're just making it a problem for yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you are chasing people, like
Wasting your energy
yeah.
too.
Um. But yeah, so my thing with that is I feel like that's something that is like right in your face, and sometimes people don't even acknowledge that. Like when you're looking for those real friends and how to limit your circle, you already should know. Like there's a handful of people that always are checking on you. So I mean that's kind of like there for you to.
Yeah, it's like the older people, like just because you have so many people around you, they kind of like blindside you from seeing those people that are actually caring for you.
Right. I mean, so I just feel like there should be like your circle is your circle and friends are friends. I feel like what I
I
mean.
agree. Yeah.
Like you're not gonna tell certain friends things that you're gonna tell the people in your circle. You know what I mean. So I feel like there's a level of like friends, like you know what I mean, like
I agree. No, no, no. I
level
agree.
1, and then like
You
what
go
I'm
to
saying?
level 10
Yeah.
to know the secrets. You got to be at level 10.
Yeah. So I just feel like there's that's something that I feel like you should take note of.
No, I agree. It's 100% true.
The problem is when people do like tell everyone everything. That's when it's a problem. You know what I mean? Like they don't know. Like some people are just lost and misguided, and they tell everybody everything, and then it just like comes back to bite them. You know what I'm saying? In the future, that's why you got to be more courteous of who you tell things to. And,
I agree. Well, cautious. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
Another one that I do have with limiting your accessibility is it presents less distractions. Um, You
Yes.
remove distractions from your
Yes.
life.
Yes.
A lot of distractions could be, like going out,
Mm-hmm.
like breaking bad habits. You know what I mean? Like spending habits. Uh,
Right. Yes.
getting a VIP section every weekend.
Sheesh,
uh,
boy, those were good times. But if I if I was able to go back, I tell you what, I
it's
would stay
just,
home.
yeah, it's just when I feel like when you limit your distractions, I feel like it helps you.
Helps you focus on yourself
Helps you
better.
focus on
Yeah.
yourself and helps you, figure out what's more beneficial to you
Mm-hmm.
than the materialistic stuff. You feel
Right.
me?
I
So
agree. I agree.
yeah.
Um, I do
It
want
also
to.
expands your creativity.
100%.
You become more
100%.
creative.
Yeah, I agree because you're not drunk every
Yeah.
week. I do want to ask you, in your life, like when do you start kind of like realizing that you have to be less accessible to people?
um, I don't know. I'd say maybe after college.
Right. Okay.
Cause in college, I feel like you have no choice but to network. You know what I mean? Cause it's like
Mhm.
that point where you're at your peak, like trying to find a career, trying to meet new people, because you most of the time some people go out of state, you don't know anybody,
Right.
and you
Right.
have to
Right.
network. You can't be just enclosed. You're gonna be
Mhm.
miserable. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I feel like after college, when I graduated and started the podcast and everything, uh, that opened my eyes more, and I seen who I needed to be accessible to and who not to.
Right.
Cause
Right.
like I said in the past, like I envision myself somewhere, you know what I mean? So like just knock it out now, so when you're there, you don't have to deal with it. You feel me? Like have your friend group steady and strong now. You know.
I
What
agree.
about you?
I agree. I would say it was like towards the end of my senior year.
Yeah.
Uh, because the first 3 years, 3 years and a half, I would say, I was always around people, right? Um, most of them were just people that we used party together with, and I would say right after I turned 21, I kind of like started seeing, okay, certain people just come to the place when we have something.
Mhm.
Let's say if we all just hang out, whether it is because we used to do a lot of things. We used to do like Taco Tuesday and stuff like that. uh I noticed certain people when it was like little stuff like that, when it was just us as friends, sharing a good time, they would not show up to that. And then now when I got out of college, because with the pandemic, as nobody was going out
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I noticed a lot of people just like weren't reaching out. So that's when I really like started focusing on that. Or I gotta remove certain people out of my life. They're not beneficial to me. They're only here for the good times. And that's I would say that's when I kind of started um removing certain people from my life. Even before, like even through college, like there were some people that I knew, I saw that weren't there for my best interest, and kind of like you know got them out of the way. Uh, and now you know I can count on my friends in one hand, like all my close friends at least. I do have, like you said, you do. There's levels when it comes to friendships or
Yeah.
relationships. Uh, you know, I would say altogether I probably have like 10 friends. Those, I mean, at least I would say if you're like 16, you're like, oh, 10 friends, you're a loner. But once you grow up, like you said, it does like age does plays a major role into it. Um, like you said, less distraction, less stress. I'm actually building meaningful
Yeah.
relationships, and I'm actually meeting people like minded like me, which is good. So I would say for me it was like right around the same time, by like early senior year, almost towards the end.
Yeah, I just feel like that's the time that where it's like like a glaring like thing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like it's crazy because like when you're in high school, you have your group of friends. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I always said it, and like sometimes it's very, I wouldn't say uncommon, but it's rare. It's more rare to you see yourself still like stuck with your childhood friends than friends that you meet after college and after, after high school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like when you're ready, when your brain is already like, I guess, what's the word, like developed,
Mhm.
and you start, like you said, like-minded people with the same interests. That's the people that you tend to like lean more towards,
Right.
apart from, like very very close childhood friends. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Not like, I wouldn't consider like middle school friends and high school friends like childhood friends. You know what I mean? I'm like people you actually grew up with,
Like
like,
elementary school, all
you know what I'm
that
saying,
stuff.
all that.
Yeah.
But no, it's like I'm just saying like people that out of school type shit. You feel me?
Right.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Like
get to
people
know.
like from the
Cause
neighborhood
you
that
have
you grow
school
up with.
friends and you have friends outside of school. You
Yeah.
feel me?
I
Like
agree. I
so.
agree. Yes.
But but yeah, man. I don't know. It's just like I feel like certain people. It could be beneficial to some people and it could be less beneficial to other people. Like some people like to be out there and it works for some people. You know
Yeah.
what I
It
mean?
does.
It
It
works,
does.
but like the pandemic did.
They
The
play a
pandemic
role.
was important to
Was.
the being less accessible because some people weren't even going out. Well, I mean, everyone wasn't going out, and you had
Right.
to focus on yourself. You know what I mean?
I
And you
agree.
had to, like I said, become creative and innovative, and
I
find
agree.
ways to entertain yourself and
Better yourself.
communicate with the people that actually, like you said, some people didn't even hit you up during the pandemic. Like people were just
Exactly.
people were afraid, like to even
Yeah.
communicate. Like,
Yeah.
um, but I don't know, man. My point of view on this whole thing is just I feel like when you do limit your access to people, I feel like it just helps you with growth, which
Mhm.
then helps with success, and it just betters you as an individual because when and when not to open up, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Like it's just like you said, it just depends on the situation. Like there's some times in life where you're gonna have to be accessible,
Right. Right. I agree.
uh, but then there's times in life where it's not a necessity to be accessible.
I
That's
agree.
what I feel like
That's
some people
yeah.
need to find that balance. When is it a necessity and when is it not? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
And you just know, and also depends on the situation that you are, right? Um, like you could be going through different situations, and certain situations you're gonna be. It's gonna be okay to be accessible to people, and then in other situations it's not.
hmm
So that's another thing that people have to. I would say people will have to look out for.
right,
Like what situation are they in, um, and also knowing. I guess not knowing, but trying to see if the person you're opening up to is somebody that you can actually trust
right.
with the information you're giving them access to.
Yeah, trust is important.
100%.
I feel like damn, that should be another episode. But it's just talking about like trust. Like when is it too early? You know what I'm saying? When is the right time? To give trust. Like let somebody have your trust,
Right.
because that's something that's very delicate.
It is. It
And
is.
when you give the wrong person trust, they take advantage of it. You know what I mean?
Hundred
That's where it could
percent.
be a problem.
100.
There was something that I wanted to touch on really quick.
Mhm.
It was this quote I seen on an article. It says sometimes the difference between two people is the distance that needs to be had. So when there's friends, like this is for friends mainly because it's like when you limit your access to friendships, you grow and benefit from it, and you stop depending on certain things that you know that other person may have. Like a small break sometimes is good,
Right. Yeah.
because y'all see what y'all needed to work on. Because I guarantee you, not every friendship is perfect.
100%.
So
Yeah.
I feel like when you do, limit yourself that access to your friend, which is a good like limiting, not in a bad way. You know what I mean? It's just for the better. Like you see, like say for instance, maybe y'all OD'd communication where the things that we're talking about were just pointless. You just felt like you had to text a good morning to someone. You know what I mean? Like it's just sometimes I feel like sometimes people like overdo it, and they don't really mean what they're talking about
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So I feel like when you do like separate or give you time, like give your friendship a break, or just have a friendship that isn't constantly around them and constantly, what I'm saying, 365 days, what I'm saying, like there with them and all of that. I feel like that's where you guys grow as friends, because you see that you don't need the other person um to survive and to live your life.
Right.
That's the way I
Right.
look at it. I just feel like some people become too dependent on certain people, and like I said in the past episode, when they don't have that person, they see themselves in a bad shape. So
No, I agree.
I
I
just feel
agree
like
with
that
that.
there's
Yeah.
is like some people may be pro like distance or pro break or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever the term is, but it could be beneficial. Just it depends the way you do it.
Right. Right.
In my opinion.
I agree with that. Yeah. 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 But now how do you? I want to know, like, how do you limit, or in what way you became less accessible to people in your life? How would you say?
Um, it's just like I wouldn't. I feel like I would just not open up to everybody. I would maintain a neutral conversation. Cause I feel like when I do open up, it should feel like a privilege, to that person. Like when I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to them about certain personal, things in life. Other ways, it was just like not going out as much and finding happiness other ways. Knowing that I didn't need to, drink to a point where I felt like I lost my like
Balance. Yeah.
like my what I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
going out to find happiness. I could find
Right.
happiness other ways,
Mm-hmm.
like talking to someone, or going for a walk, or going to the gym.
Right.
Yeah, just finding happiness in other areas is what helped me limit access to certain things and to certain people. Because like I said, you become dependent on certain things, and once you find happiness in other areas, is when you're like, oh, I didn't need that to be happy,
Right.
and
I
then you
agree.
you you go the other route. So
I agree.
yeah, what about you?
I mean, I would say somewhat of the same way. My main thing was like I started focusing more on me and on my relationship with the girlfriend. Um, I feel that's when everything kind of like started happening. Like
Mm-hmm.
getting people out of not getting people out of my life, but like removing certain people. Uh, and I feel like that's when I really started, going out less. And just focusing on the things that really, really matter, like business, making sure everything is taken care of around the house, spending more time with the girlfriend, doing things like experiences for us, like, traveling, stuff like that. Um, I feel like that was the main, like, what triggers it, like me just putting more focus on my personal life and my love life. Another thing is I stopped going out as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll go out here and there, but more than often, like I start mainly going out by myself. Like you, most of the time, if I go
Damn, by
out,
yourself.
I mean, like without a girlfriend, right? Like most of the times now, I'll probably go out once, like uh, so friends from work might go to the bar and have a couple of drinks,
Mm-hmm.
or like we did last year, we got together, went and went out,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But more than often, if I went to like big club or anything, more than often it's with a girlfriend. Just building that bond between the two of us, I would say.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I had something. I just lost my train of thought. Nah, but oh yeah. So what I was saying is basically like so with the self. Damn. I was saying with the limiting accessibility, I just feel like the most important thing to take away from it is, um, it's okay to do it because you grow as an individual, and don't be afraid to do it. Like I feel like it just people feel like losing friends is the end of the world, and losing
Yeah,
friendships and relationships is the end of the world. But just know that you're gonna grow from it, and things are gonna get better when you do it. That's my point of view
I
on it.
agree. I agree 100%. Yeah.
But it's just like you said, like the going out thing. I feel like when you go out, like I just feel like we repeat ourselves, but I feel like when you go out, people see you out a lot, and they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's not like a privilege to be around you type shit because they always see you out.
Yeah.
But when it's like when it's hard to get you out, and you're like, oh, I finally got him to come out. It's like, oh, it's a privilege. You feel me?
Yeah,
Or like,
it's like,
oh,
yeah, we definitely gonna have a good time
yeah.
tonight.
And the way I approach it, like I'd go out I'd go out, you know, for like important reasons like
Birthdays,
or
yeah.
like family parties or stuff
Mhm.
like that. Or if I just need it, you know what I mean? Like if I just
Yeah.
need to get out of the house and do
Sometimes you just
something.
need to. Yeah, that's
But
true.
like I said, excessively doing it is when I feel like it can become a problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
I agree, man.
but yeah, that's my point of view. Any last words, man?
Man, I think we said everything. Everything, yeah. I know it's gonna a little bit of a shorter episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, you guys take whatever we say with a grain of salt. Because everybody does it differently when it comes to limiting people access to their lives. So you got to find the right balance that will work for you. And you know, the main thing I would say that plays a big role is understanding that there's things that you're doing right now that are not beneficial to your life, and essentially won't matter in like 5 years from today. Yeah, yeah,
Nah, right. Nah, with that, it helps you just focus on the essentials in life. It helps you, you know, focus on, you know, the right things, and it helps you with more than anything with growth.
amen
So
to that.
definitely consider it, and like you said, take it with a grain of salt. But the most important thing is just your peace, you know, and you know,
Your pace and your energy, honestly.
being
Yeah,
alright with yourself and everything like that. Like the last thing you need is negativity.
amen
So
to that.
yeah, just find your peace of mind and stay away from all of that, you know, negativity.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you would like an episode dedicated to the trust topic that we were talking about, like when is it too early? Like when is the right time for some to give your trust to someone,
Mhm.
and our point of view on trust, and just a whole ramble
Right.
on trust.
Mhm.
But episode 25, 5 more episodes. So
Before that,
it's
the
like
end
it's
of
like a
season
marathon,
two.
man.
Yeah,
To
we're
the end of
almost
season
there.
2. Be on the lookout, guys. So maybe by the time season 3 comes around, there's gonna be probably a ton of different things like the street stuff that we did,
Mhm.
and a ton of different things. We just been holding back because it's like you'd rather do it for another season than have it lost in season 2. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
because we want to be more like all the other segments. We wanted to be consistent.
yeah.
Uh, so we working on like a little schedule on how we're gonna how we want to release it, when things are gonna be coming out, and all that stuff.
Right. Well, thank you guys once again for the continuous support. Thank you guys for tuning in every week, every Monday. We genuinely mean it. You know, taking your time out of your day to listen, to comment, to like, to share.
I agree.
Couldn't
Yeah.
thank you guys enough. You guys are part of the growth, and you guys are, you know, part of, you know, our family. So I appreciate you
Into that,
guys, you know, a lot, and don't limit your accessibility to, you know, the vibras.
yeah.
You know, give us
Yeah.
all of your accessibility. Tune in every Monday.
Yeah, every Monday, you already know.
This is the only time you get a break to not limit your accessibility. So
Yeah, yeah. This the only exception.
yeah, but like your waiver.
Yeah, but yeah. Just make sure you guys are, liking, subscribing. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. That way you guys get updated with the newest and latest coming from the channel. Like we said, there's a lot of stuff coming out. That some of them we might not even announce just to test you guys. But yeah, also tell a friend to tell a friend. and tell their friend to tell another friend to come check us out. Yeah, and also as always, thank you for the stream support that we receive from you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, and also for our new followers and stuff, subscribers from TikTok and stuff like that. We're looking to continue some more Dominican trends. We just gotta find the right thing. So be patient with us. All right. We don't want to oversaturate the content, but it is coming soon. More Dominican content. More stuff for our people. So be on the lookout. Like you said, turn on the ring notification bell so you guys can be prepared when any of that drops. But enough of that. Remember, guys, like, comment, and as always, remember to subscribe and let's vibe. Peace.
Peace. Amor y paz.